Yeah, we can do a whole episode
Yeah.
on abuse and when to walk away.
Exactly.
But I want to go to the next one,
Mhm.
which is an emotionally immature person or emotionally unavailable person, really.
This is for men, an emotionally immature man.
Yes.
And I just want to be blunt on this one. And I hope this is helpful, speaking from a male perspective to you ladies on when to walk away. That's what we're going to do when Kate speaks to the men. But for ladies, you can only be as spiritually mature as you are emotionally mature. So emotional immaturity has a massive impact on your relationship.
That's right.
And it will have a massive impact on your spiritual life.
Yeah. So emotional maturity, it really needs time to suss out, which is why I always recommend 90 days before getting exclusive. It's just, man, you guys, you can have all the feels in the world, but the feels are going to cloud like truly how you feel around them. This is a question for my ladies. Truly ask yourself, how do I feel around them? Truly, how do I feel around them? Seriously. You might feel all the sparks. Cool. Sparks, chemistry, that's fun. But you also might be improving energy if you really get down to it. Because a lot of times when I felt I had all this chemistry, I also felt like I was like trying to prove. I wanted to win them over. I wanted them to like me. And so really, how do you feel around them? Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure? Do you feel like they share empathy with you? Do you feel like they're curious about you?
Right.
Do you feel like they give generous assumptions of you? Do you feel safe? Like, how do you feel? And this is where you have to get in touch truly also with your body. Like what I believe the Holy Spirit is in all of us as Christians. Yes. But the Holy Spirit is speaking to you. And he's often speaking to you through sensations in your body, sweating, feeling like a pit in your stomach. That is, so much of that can also come back to, hey, the Holy Spirit is in you speaking something to you about through your feelings.
Yeah.
I know we like to demonize feelings, but I truly believe there's a beauty to them that are indicators of like something is off here.
Yeah.
And so that's something to assess.
Absolutely. Or like you're trying to convince yourself or convince him to be with you.
Right.
The problem with, and you nailed it, the problem with emotional maturity and evaluating is we build feelings and connection and a romantic attraction first, and then we look to evaluate their feeling or their emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Nobody's blatantly immature on first glance.
Yeah.
Nobody will blatantly disrespect you on the first date. Nobody will blatantly be apathetic and unempathetic towards you and your pain. It's always gradual.
Yeah.
It's always over time. That's why it's so important to date over time and in community, right? With counsel, not in a silo. So that when things surface, you have a counsel to see it.
Not in a silo.
Exactly.
Oof. Yep.
That's where the emotional immaturity is like kept and guarded as a secret. Right. Oh, he's actually really, really not great emotionally. And here's some of we made some major signs, some big indicators of the lack of emotional maturity, which is a massive deal. Ladies, if you're dating a man and you have to use ultimatums for him to change, that's a huge indicator, right? That he's not taking you seriously, that you have to use threats for him to listen to you, to honor you. That's a massive deal.
Ugh.
It's incredibly unhealthy. There's no respect of words or you or your boundaries or your commitments. That's a huge indicator for emotional immaturity, right? It's their way or the highway, and your boundaries, your commitments, your words, yourself is blatantly disrespected.
Also in that, if they say one thing and constantly do another, they're a talker. They're not truly emotionally trying to commit to you in a way that is respectful and honoring. And that's a big deal.
Well, that's a great segue. There's no ownership of mistakes. Only excuses or only talking, only chatter. Ownership of a mistake is not just me looking at Kate saying, I totally own that mistake. Here's what I'm going to do about it. It's actually going out and doing something about it, right? And showing change. It's easy to be a talker. It's easy to give lip service. It's hard to change.
Yep.
It's hard to take true ownership. Here's another great indicator. There's a total collapse of trust, meaning you guys don't have partnership. There's no trust. There's no trust in what he says he's going to do, he's actually going to do.
So he's not reliable.
Exactly.
Yep.
Here's another big one. Relationally, you guys have been plateaued for months upon months. There's like overwhelming conflict and there's only defensiveness.
Yep.
There's no humility.
Or like no movement forward.
Yeah.
It's like he's not taking actions and ownership.
Right. It's just defensiveness, excuses, lack of ownership. That's a huge gap in emotional character and maturity. And ultimately, here's probably the biggest indicator if I had to wrap it all up and put a bow on it. Ultimately, emotionally immature men lack the ability to do two things: handle their emotions, regulate their emotions and their feelings. That could look like them lashing out, or it could look like them majorly suppressing their emotions. Those are both, there's an inability to handle and regulate emotions and feelings. And there's a cause for that. I mean, I have empathy for those men. But the second thing too is the inability to provide empathy or empathize. It's a major, major gap in emotional.
You share an emotion and they have no ability to connect with it. They see you as always the problem.
Yeah.
They don't see and try to understand your emotions or feelings at all. They're like, that sounds like a big deal. You need to get over that.
Yes. Okay. So that is really, really important. And then the last one is probably what I would say is the most important and the one I would drill the most